Hello, everyone. Glad to be with you again for another episode that I'm confident will be enlightening to you. Listen, we've had about a 4 or 5 episode run with the APGA, being introduced to some of their promising stars, stars that are really on the cusp of introducing themselves to the world through promotions, whether that be the Corn Ferry Tour or whether that be the ultimate PGA Tour. Today is no exception. We are honored and excited to have Chase Johnson. Chase has a really powerful story. He clearly is on the cusp of what we just talked about, pivoting between the APGA Tour and the PGA America tours for the past season and a half or 2 seasons. And so we won't take any more time. We're going to introduce you to the conversation. And without further ado, Chase, welcome to the Tee to Green Golf Podcast. We are thrilled to have you with us this afternoon, and know that you have a fantastic backdrop where you're giving attention to your craft. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you today.
Well, listen, we are excited about what we have learned from yourself and your peers on the APGA tour. It's really been an exciting conversation over the past few months as we've gotten to know you all from beginning to present. And so when we think about your start, you're a native of Barberton, Ohio, and so shout out to Midwest golfers making waves. When did
hmm
Chase's story with the game of golf begin?
Pretty much since birth. As a kid, my dad started playing the game about 2 years before I was born and became absolutely addicted to it. He works at an aluminum wheel factory, and so as soon as he gets home nowadays, every day since I can remember, he will shower, put on golf clothes with the belt, with the shoes in the house that mom never liked, golf glove always in the pocket, and if we go out to dinner, he's always got golf clothes and golf glove in the back pocket because he never knows if he's going to get a chance to go to a golf store and hit some shots in the net. So he got really addicted to it. And in my little like Zoomer as a kid, when you can't walk and you can like run around in the thing, keeps you up.
Yeah.
I would always try to take his clubs out of his bag, and when I could finally walk, I got a little plastic set and was smacking the ball around in the house and in the yard and everything. Yeah, and then I played every sport growing up, but fell in love with golf early. And my first tournament was 5 years old for the U.S. kids, and was able to win that one and made my first eagle in that tournament. And yeah, just the snowball effect from there to present day.
So in many respects, you are living destiny right now. That's exciting. Exciting.
Yeah.
I love your dad's piece in all of this. And listen, if I listen correctly, I'm assuming he's still doing that. He's still coming home and going to hit balls.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's we kind of have this open field to the right of our house that's about 75 yards, and then it extends into the middle school football field in the back, like across the street. So we could stretch it to basically like a little homemade range of like 180 yards, and so it's just he he actually was interviewed in Barberton in our local news and referred to himself as the Barberton Tiger Woods, which is now
nice.
just an everlasting joke that's never going to leave our family. and, so yeah, he's always out there hitting golf shots in the yard every day. Everybody knows him.
Shout out to dad for keeping the routine, right? The priorities are the priorities. I love it. Well, listen, you alluded to playing multiple sports despite the early introduction to the game. Talk to us about
hmm
the additional sports that you played, and ultimately, how did those sports, if at all, how did those sports impact the game of golf for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I played basketball, football, baseball, snowboard. I still snowboard to this day. We always go snowboarding trips. But yeah, I think it's really important for kids to like you don't want to specialize early anymore, because every sport has a piece that contributes to the next in
Mhm.
every way. Like there's especially anything rotational. It's going to help translate into every other rotational sport that you play. And you never really see awful tennis players or hockey players as golfers. There's a correlation between the movements and how hockey players cover the ball. You always see golfers who have a baseball background be quite powerful because of their
Mhm.
body rotation speed and everything like that. So
Mhm.
it's really important, I think, to experience, and then you truly develop your love and passion for whatever sport you decide to go into. If you specialize early and 7, 8 years old, and you don't get to experience those other things, you don't quite know what you don't know. So you maybe you love basketball more, and you have potential to excel in that and go to college and play, and you never knew because you never gave it a shot. So or in my instance, being in Northeast Ohio, as a golfer, I can't play golf in the winters. So I always played basketball. And then by the time, February, March came around, I was begging my dad to go to the indoor simulators because my itch, my passion was crawling back, and I couldn't, contain it, and I was ready to get back out there. So um, it's kind of nice to take breaks from things to see where you're at
Mhm.
mentally and stuff. And you learn that as a kid without even realizing that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that answer, Chase. And listen, for the Tee to Green Golf Podcast community, I would say that this is another paperclip moment. I know there's a tendency today to specialize in one sport because of the expense associated with that. But I think it's worth considering Chase's answer to the question because you become so much more agile. I think you're less
Hmm.
apt to burn out in any one sport. And ultimately, through that experience, you can truly understand what path that you want to take. And Chase, I'm grateful for your answer. Um, I was a multiple sport athlete and found my way to golf on the back end of when basketball had come to an end. And so glad to hear that there are still those that are on my heels who value being a multi-sport athlete. So wonderful answer. During my research, I had the opportunity to listen to a clip, and you were recounting an experience with yourself, your father, Renee Powell, who was an LPGA legend,
Hmm.
and her father. Can you share that experience with us?
Yes. So I can't remember quite how old I was. I want to say between the ages of 8 and 10, around there. And so they live in Ohio, in like the Canton area. And so they had a course, I believe it was Clearwater, maybe. Um,
Hmm.
and I can't quite remember the name. It's been a minute since I've played there. But yeah, so we went out there, and I had a tournament coming up, and so we were doing a practice round, and Renee and her father had seen us out there together, and naturally it spiked some interest. I'm sure her father saw a bit of themselves in us, and so he came out and surveyed and watched and just kind of kept quiet in the background, and then talked to my dad, and then brought me in and introduced me to Renee. And from there, a bit of inspiration and mentorship kind of was born. And we would go up there more frequently to practice. And then when I had the tournament there, I think it was like a first tee event, or maybe some other like local junior tour in Ohio. And he came out and watched me, and I can't remember exactly what the score was, but I was lighting it up through 11 holes, and he was out there following every shot. And I ended up winning the event and shot one of my lowest scores at the time. And yeah, it was really cool kind of seeing how um the influence that the two of them had on the not only the game of golf, but the game of women's golf, and the strides that she made in her career. And it was just really reflecting back on it, as a kid, you don't really, have the appreciation or understanding for things. In my head, I'm just meeting an LPGA Tour player and her
Mhm.
father, which is fantastic. It's incredible. And then reflecting back on it, it was like, wow, that was really something special that my dad and I got to experience. And very grateful for the opportunity that I had to that, and always happy to have the Ohio roots and that local affiliation and association with the two of them.
Nice. One of the things that you shared in the clip that I saw as I was doing my research is that there was a moment in that interaction where Mr. Powell said, essentially, whatever you do, don't touch his swing. Any more
Hmm.
context around that? And what was he talk about your swing at that point? And was what you were demonstrating a result of being a multi-sport athlete at that time?
I would think so. Like I said, my dad got really addicted to golf, and so he read all of Hogan's books, Tiger's books, Jack's books, the videos, Harvey Pinnick. Every piece of golf knowledge that you could possibly find from the best players in the history of the game. He took bits and pieces of it that he liked, and he tried to. I never had a PGA professional coach growing up. It was just always my dad, and so
Okay.
he took his bits and pieces that he learned from these, and he incorporated um, all of his findings into his own kind of method, which was just a
Mhm.
very safe swing, essentially, to protect the back and knees.
Mhm.
We're huge Tiger fans growing up, and so obviously Tiger had issues with all of his surgeries and stuff
Mhm.
throughout his career, and so he wanted to prevent that and produce a game for the longevity. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, when you're playing multiple sports, you're engaging different muscles. If you just constantly work on the golf swing, there's a lot of muscles that aren't engaging and firing if you're not doing it correctly. And so when you're playing those other sports, you're developing strength, speed, agility, and just preparing the body for long days. In golf, sometimes we have rain delays and we have to, or you're at the longest day of golf for the US Open. And
Mhm.
having that background, the endurance and the strength that you built without even knowing that you built, is it all adds up every little bit.
I love that. Again, that the value of multiple sports, and I think that you've done an excellent job of really going deeper into just playing and how it impacts the body. I love that.
Hmm.
Well, as we were transitioning, it sounds like that may have been a first tee event. You had a really strong junior career, still being based in Ohio and a number of accomplishments. And then you transitioned to Kent State. And at Kent State, literally from the time you walked on to the campus until presumably you graduated, year over year, you left a footprint, not just on the Kent State's team, but in the Mid American Conference or the MAC, as many of us know it to be. Talk about
Hmm.
how you approached entering college golf, the level of confidence and self esteem that you had to have an impact year over year while you were there.
Yeah, I mean, it always boils down to it's no secret. It is the tiniest thing that you teach from the like from birth, and everything that you do outside of golf, academics, just life in general, is that each day, each year, you want to get better. So going into college, I didn't have this whole grand concept of what I wanted to accomplish from a collegiate career. I didn't really know
Mhm.
what to expect from college golf going into it. I just knew that I was a pretty decent junior golfer. I think I was like top 100 on junior golf scoreboard. I think I was like the number one ranked player in Ohio when I got recruited to Kent State. And so but I had had experiences at the top level at the U.S. Junior, where I went to the first U.S. Junior that I qualified for, didn't make match play. The second one I made match play, and I lost to Davis Riley in the first round. I think two down, one or two down. So even though I was good, I wasn't the best, and I had seen players at their best, and I just wanted to continue to get better each year, to prepare myself for what I ultimately wanted to do, which is become a professional golfer and reach the PGA Tour. And so um, I had a good start to the season. I think I was the number one player in the MAC through the first half of the season. I won Player of the Year my sophomore year in the MAC, and then had worked my way up and earned All American. Um, honors, honorable mention in my senior year. So each year, I just wanted to get better and better at the things that I was struggling with. And I've always been a good scorer. My dad had taught me that early. He'd have me play up tees and just do birdie, like make as many birdies as I could from short distances. And then like basically like a best ball with myself just to make birdies. And um, I ended up, I think I set a school record at Kent for most career birdies. So when you're able to, yeah, I'm not going out there each round trying to think like, oh, I need to make 7 birdies today to hit that. I didn't even know that I had created that record until after I had graduated and left. But yeah, just always trying to get better each day. And in college, it's a different level of golf. Um, it starts to incorporate life into golf. And so I quickly learned, hey, if I get all my homework done in my classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that makes for a lot easier weekend when I can go and just focus on the golf tournament and play. So yeah, just kind of trying to balance that and all the travel that we do at Kent State. We're a pretty notable school in the golf world and got invited to a lot of the biggest tournaments. So it definitely prepared me well for what I'm currently doing.
Yeah, and again, I think there's always some really powerful takeaways in these conversations, which is why I love doing them. And and kind of woven into your answer is work ethic creates confidence, creates
Hmm.
self-esteem. I
Hmm.
think the other piece of that is understanding your game. And your dad did an amazing job. I mean, I think this is the first time that I've heard someone say that we played from the up tees and the focus was about birdies. You know, built into that is focusing on your scoring clubs and subsequently working on putting. So that's a phenomenal takeaway. And then I think
Exactly.
just the discipline that is needed to be a college athlete. Like you've got you're living life as you indicated at that point. So wonderful, wonderful takeaways there. Well, listen, at some point the experience at Kent State it ended, and you had a decision to make. And in 2019, you made the decision to turn pro. Take us through that moment or that experience. Why was that the right time? What were the options? How hard of a decision was that for you?
It was easy. No, it was the easy decision to make. It's like I said, it's what I've wanted to do my whole life. I had postponed um, my professional career. So it's
Okay.
pretty, at the time, it was pretty customary. A lot of the higher ranked collegiate players would go to Q school for PGA Tour Canada in the spring. And they would do that. And then that way they had a place to play right when the college season ended. And they would just start their summer professional immediately. My teammate, Ian Holt, he did that. The Q school site that he had gotten was over our spring break, so he was able to do it without missing any college tournaments. Played really well, got Canada, and he's having a fantastic career this year on Corn Ferry. And but I did not get that site, the same Q school site that he got. Mine was going to cause me to miss a couple. Or miss a Texas A&M's tournament, which is one that I had
Mhm.
historically played pretty well in college, and I didn't want to leave my team hanging.
Mhm.
Basically, it was an important season in my senior year. Our team was pretty good my senior year. We ended up coming in 10th at the national championship, and
Mhm.
at the time we needed a team win. I can't remember if we did or not with that event, but I put um, the loyalty into and respect into my team at the time. And then I had stayed amateur through the summer to try to qualify for the US amateur again. I had gotten invited to um, a couple big amateur stuff that year. I had Mondayed into a PGA Tour Canada event to try to make the cut and be able to skip pre-qualifying stage for Corn Ferry Tour Q School. So
Okay.
that was my method, was to play one last US amateur, try to win that, and obviously get your invites to PGA Tour and all those events and the Masters and all that stuff. And so I had qualified for it again, and then I lost in a playoff to get into match play, unfortunately, and then traveled literally the next day to Corn Ferry Tour pre-Q school or pre-qualifying stage, and ended up winning that. And then I got through first stage. And then second stage, I shot 14 under and missed by 2 strokes, unfortunately, that year. So almost did it right my first year. Then went in
Right.
the spring and got full PGA Tour Latino America status. And so my declaration came right after I finished the U.S. Amateur that year. And I thought it was the right choice for me. I don't think my game was ready at all to be able to compete at a professional level in the summer that year,
Mhm.
because as good of a college player as you are, you could there every team has one or two All-Americans when you get to
Mhm.
the national championship.
Mhm.
Everybody in the field at the PGA Tour Americas, Corn Ferry Tour, and PGA Tour level are all Americans. Um, and you have some essentially amateur level legends of the game who haven't quite hit their stride to get to the PGA Tour, but they're there.
Mhm.
And so those are the guys that you're contending with, and if you're not firing on all four cylinders, you're going to get left in the dust. So it's more important to realize where you are, what your game needs to improve, and I had to learn that, and I didn't want to start it until I felt prepared, and fortunately I did and got off to a relatively quick start in my professional career.
Yeah, I would, and again, love this story. A lot of learnings and takeaways that were built into that. Very thoughtful, but insightful into the backstory that many of us really are not privy to. So thank you for that. Fast forward 4 years, 2023, kind of your hello world moment. You introduce yourself to the APGA, and that seems like when things really kind of catapulted. Talk to us about the APGA experience. I mean, you've got 7 wins, and you've earned a victory each year on the APGA. 2026 is still in play, but boy, 7 wins over
Mhm.
essentially 3.5 years. Talk to us about that experience.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I do feel as a true ambassador for the tour. I've grown to love the tour ever since I first started competing onto it. I consider everyone close friends. A number of them I've gotten quite close to over the years, and I really appreciate what the tour is doing for players and has already done for me. So like I said, I got off to a decent start in my professional career. I finished second in my second Corn Ferry Tour event, and I'm sitting there inside the top 25 with the green bibs for the PGA Tour bound. And unfortunately, in that season, I missed 10 cuts by one and 6 by 2, and lost my card by 4 spots. And it's when you go through something like that after having such quick success out there, it's not a good place to be mentally. And so 2022, I didn't really play a whole lot of professional golf. I was just kind of trying to figure out what I was doing with my game. First off, I had massive chipping yips. They were horrible.
Mm.
The Corn Ferry event that I lost to Will Zalatoris by a shot, I had 14 failed up and downs and bladed the ball off the green 6 times. So I couldn't chip the ball. And so 2020, end of 2022, I started to figure some things out. And then in 2023, I debuted on PGA Tour or APGA Tour. Found out about it, signed up, got accepted through the process, and I played 11 events that season. I finished second 7 times, won fifth place finish, and I won 3 times. So
Mhm.
I was very consistent that year. I was always in contention, and I started to, the nerves were like off the charts in the beginning of the season. I basically went a whole year without professional golf. And so when you do that, you get in the I had choked several times early on. So I had finished bogey in Port St. Lucie to lose by 1 or 2. I had lost a number of events early in that season because I just blew it coming down the stretch. And um the first time I had managed to secure a victory was the John Shippen event in Detroit, which I won
Mhm.
and then went on to become the first and I think only champion of the event to make the cut in the Rocket Mortgage the following week. And that kind of opened up the doors. My confidence felt like it was back. I didn't feel like I needed to do anything special to make birdies and compete and post low scores. And that puts a lot less stress on the rest of the game when you don't feel like you need to drive it absolutely perfect or hit your irons to 10 feet. Like I was able to chip in a couple times. So then my confidence goes through the roof, making putts when I need to make them, hitting fairways coming down the stretch and giving myself birdie chances, not just trying to hold on for dear life on a par. And so yeah, the courses that I'm playing on the APGA tour my first year out here, I'm looking around I'm like, is this normal? Like we're playing Valhalla out there. We're playing the PGA Tour event in Bermuda. We're playing at Spyglass in at Spanish Bay, and I'm like, what are we doing out here? And it's just TPC Sugarloaf for the Tour Championship, and I've
Yeah.
they have Tiger's 82 victories on YouTube, and I've watched his 1998 win on that course. And of course, I got to go up there and stand where he hit the shot on number. We played it as number 11 over the par three, and I'm just like, good lord, man, these guys. They love. We're at Concession Club that season for the first time. I'm seeing these places, and um, you could see the effort that they have gone into creating a tour to prepare you for the next level. No other mini tour does that. They are without a doubt the
Mhm.
best mini tour out there. And
Mhm.
no one has a pathway to PGA Tour Americas, which they do. And they truly want to get
Mhm.
you there. But at the end of the day, they understand that it's up to the player. It's not up to them. They can give you you know, all the stones in front of you, but you got to walk the path. And so that's where it comes down to
Yes.
us. And what my main goal for the APGA tour is for me to achieve everything that I want to achieve so that I can prove that their method works. And it does.
Absolutely.
Like regardless of what golf is being played, it's there. I experienced that. I love it. Um, I'm a fan. I'm a friend. I'm family for the tour, and I just want to do my part to let everyone know how that this is how I feel about the tour is just the way it is.
That is deeply, deeply powerful, embedded in gratitude, and I think the gratitude gushes out. And I think that you know, much like your beginning and your present, Chase, it's a journey, and I think the APGA, I'm certain, is proud of you and how you're moving along that journey. One thing that I think is important to note is from 2023, which is when you stepped on the tour, there's also been this parallel path that you've been on that's introduced you to the PGA Tour and the PGA Americas. I think in that 2023 to 2025 period, you played in a number of tour events. Corrales and Punta Cana, which is where I played and got this shirt from.
Hmm.
You talked about the Rocket Mortgage. In 2025, you played in the U.S. Open, and I think you attempted to make the Open today. So I think you're doing a tremendous job of representing the APGA. But talk to us about this parallel experience, the PGA Tour exposure. How different is that, and how important is it at the same time?
Yeah, it is extremely important for what we're doing. You need exposure. You need to get comfortable out there. Again, as amazing as our schedule is, it doesn't come with the pressure of playing against those players. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like the I've been in events where Rory's walking by me. The memorial. I'm walking by and Rory says hi to me, and I'm getting paired with, I played with Ryan Gerard at the Rocket Mortgage, and
Mm-hmm.
I played with Charlie Hoffman, and Eric Cole's a good friend of mine from Corn Ferry days, from a player standpoint. Always enjoy playing with him and all these guys. You need to get comfortable playing at that level because you can shoot 62 on your home course all day, but doing it out there is a different
Right.
story. And
Right.
so in 2024, 2023 and 2024, from Monday qualifying into Corn Ferry events, I almost earned enough points to get back into the playoffs and have a chance for a card back just based off of two events each season. I Mondayed into Chile, top 25, made the cut again in Texas. In 24, I Mondayed into Wichita Open, finished 12th there, got into the last regular season based off of points. I've earned a couple sponsor exemptions in the PGA Tour events by winning APGA Tour events like Worldwide Technology,
Mm-hmm.
made the cut in that one. Genesis, I earned the Charlie Sifford Memorial exemption and made the cut there, uh, becoming the fourth person to do so for that event. Um, and it's a different game playing inside those ropes. We try to make it, as equal to what we are feeling at home or at lower levels of competition. But at the end of the day, hitting that shot on those conditions, those pins, those greens, it is a little bit different. So the quicker you can become comfortable with that and realize, honestly, that you don't have to play perfect golf to win. You just have to be clean. Those guys don't miss shots
Mm-hmm.
that they shouldn't. They make the putts they need to make. They get basic ones up and down. They take advantage of holes that they know they're capable of doing. And I think Zalatoris had said it. You can make a 65 not look sexy. It can be a good score that doesn't look pretty while you're getting it done. And so that's just the main thing is realizing that and still trying to figure that out. I've had a couple good finishes this year on PGA Tour Americas. I finished 10th in Argentina, was scrapping it around and finding ways to score. And um, you're just trying to get comfortable at every level and bring your practice game to the course. And we're working on a couple things, my coach and I, and I'm happy to see a couple bits of progress and improvement with it, which is making me more comfortable every day I
Mm-hmm.
tee it up.
That's awesome. So two things. Thanks for mentioning Ryan Gerard. I think he's having somewhat of a breakout
Hmm.
season this year. His name continues to come up. He's showing up on leaderboards, and I was just having a conversation with someone earlier this week and mentioned his name as someone to keep an eye on,
Hmm.
new to the tour. So I appreciate you validating my own eyes in that
Yeah.
sense. And with Will, I really hope and pray that Will's health allows him to come back and show the promise that we saw before the back injury, really, because I think he's another talented one.
Hmm.
And again, just hope that he's able to sustain that. So thank you for sharing those two names. Right now, knowing that you're going back and forth, and first and foremost, congratulations. I know that you had a top five. You finished in fourth at the Juneteenth Classic, which I believe was last weekend. But you're going back and forth between the two tours. I think the highest finish this year on the PGA Americas tour was a T10. And so you're all over the globe right now. How are you managing that? What's most important? What's been the learning from that? In some ways, it may feel like you're a seasoned player because it's not the first time. But what are the key takeaways and experiences right now?
Right now, the main thing is I have to keep my body healthy. I
Mm,
need to make sure that I am taking my PT seriously,
mm,
because it's a lot being on these planes for 8 hours and bouncing back and forth between time zones, still trying to get home just from a comfort level and spend time with my wife, my dog, just be, you know, understanding when to separate yourself from the game, and detox yourself basically. So that's kind of the important thing at this stage, because once I want to always be to a point where when I get to the golf course, I'm having fun.
right, right.
And when I'm not having fun, it you need a break. You need to get away from it, which is why I the last couple events haven't been my best on PGA Tour Americas, just from um, an opportunity standpoint. I haven't been giving myself good chances. I've been playing a lot of defensive golf,
Mm,
and it's just been really exhausting and stressful. And so I decided to take Bogota off, go home, reset for the week. Because if I didn't do that, I would have been Mexico City, straight to Bogota, straight overnight, like 13-hour travel day to LA for the Juneteenth, play that, go straight from there to Wichita, and then be able to go home after this event.
right.
So I was aware of where I was at physically and mentally, took Bogota off. Um, Talked with my coach, understood a couple things that we were trying to do, saw a little bit of progress a couple days before I went out, and then went to the Juneteenth and drove it the best that I have in a long time. I was able to actually comfortably turn the ball over and draw it with the things that I had worked on and kind of understood during that week that I took off. And fortunately saw some good progress with it. I hit a lot of solid shots. Unfortunately, I had just made a few mental error, not mental, but just a few minor errors on that second round. But I was still right there, made a lot of birdies. Um, in the final round, I birdied one, parred two, three, four, and five, and then didn't make another par until 15. And unfortunately, that's where that's where we gotta just quiet it down a little bit on the bad sides of it. You know, there were a lot of birdies being made there. There was a lot of yo-yoing going on between it with birdie bogey birdie bogey 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 birdie birdie type of
Yeah.
thing. So um, we're again we're I'm seeing the confidence in the positivities coming from making so many birdies. Yes, it's a shorter course, but that means that I drove it well. My short game was good, my putting was good. I was rolling it end over end. And on the last hole, I had a real tricky, like 20-ish yard bunker shot to a pin that was kind of like, if you can imagine a turtle shell, how it falls off on all
Hmm.
sides. The pin was kind
Hmm.
of perched right on top of the shell, and I only had like 6 feet of flat to work with, and I hit a real nice bunker shot up to 5 feet, and then made it to secure solo fourth. Which, in a season that I'm working with right now between the two tours, I'm not
Hmm.
able to play a lot of the APGA Tour events this year, so I'm already behind the 8 ball on the points list from that standpoint. So every point that I can get counts and
That's
is
right.
going to make a difference at the end of the season. So finishing solo fourth versus a three-way tie for fourth was a huge victory for me in that moment. And I had clutched up and hit a hard shot
Hmm.
and pulled it off and made a 6 footer that was breaking outside of the cup to finish it off. So yeah, I can take that same confidence that I just got from securing that off and bring it into Wichita this week on a course that I've had some good finishes on in the past, and place that I feel comfortable with, and know, okay, hey, I'm driving it better. I was able to pull off some things when I needed to do it last week, and I did it comfortably. So I'm putting myself in a good mindset going into this upcoming week on Americas.
Oftentimes we talk about sport is life.
Hmm.
And if we just take your answer from that question, the self awareness, the need to create balance, the importance of doubling down or focusing on what you need to focus on, the mental side of things, the physical side of things, and then the outcome of when you do that, which for you, at least in part, was the fact that you were able to draw the ball at the Juneteenth Classic when it may not have happened in some of your PGA Americas events. The fact that you were able to clutch down and secure
Hmm.
solo fourth. I so to the T Degree in Golf podcast community, like I would encourage you to listen to this not just once, or maybe put it in whatever your library is and how you save it, and come back because as much as we're talking about
Hmm.
Chase and who he is, there's a bit of life here. So that's powerful, and Chase, I can relate to it as someone who grew up playing competitive basketball. I think I've taken some of that to my own golf game right now, even being
Hmm.
a professional. So I completely sign off on what you just said. Listen, as we bring this to a close, just kind of a few rapid fire moments.
Hmm.
What's next? Right, we're headed to Wichita. What is on the short order list for Chase going forward?
Yep, we got Wichita this week. And then there's a week off for 4th of July. Looking forward to some family time there. We go up to my wife's best friend's family to the lake, bring our dog. There's dogs everywhere. So that's always a highlight of the year for sure.
Okay.
Gonna enjoy some rest and break there. Then we go on a 3-week stretch to Canada, um, and take care of business up there. I'm pretty sure the first one's in Fredericton, I think.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and so going back to TPC Toronto, I think at the end of that stretch, which I enjoy, I've played there in the past. That was the one that I Mondayed into as an amateur, so that'll be a little bit familiar there. And then yeah, we're the next APGA event I'm going to be able to play is the Louisiana. Event and the 1912 Classic in Philly.
Okay.
So looking forward to those. But yeah, just again in the short term, we're trying to just make sure that we're hitting solid shots this week,
Mhm.
taking care of the little things and build that confidence back up out here on Americas. Get back in the right direction like that T10 was
Mhm.
headed.
Mhm.
And then just go up there to Canada with fresh mind, fresh body, and ready to take it down.
Excellent. Next rapid fire. Your dream foursome.
Uh, I love my dad to death. He does not qualify for this. Um, it is Tiger Woods, Mo Norman, and Ben Hogan. You can interchange Ben Hogan or Sam Snead, any one of them, but that's I would love to see the greatest ball strikers in the history of the game play. And if I could go even further into it with it being a fantasy, I would like to understand their feels, why they were able to do what they did so well, all the time. So yeah, so I love you, Dad. You don't qualify. You missed out on that Monday qualifier.
We could tell Dad I kind of set him up for that, but I wanted to see where that
Yeah,
was going.
yeah. He's
And
second
then
alternate,
finally,
but
and finally, I was asked to bring this up. So let me in full transparency. First of all, congratulations to you on your nuptials. I know that you're in the first year as a married couple, but
Mhm.
I got to get your opinion on the concern that popped up around August of last year relative to the sun and the tan line. What happened on wedding day? Was that tan line still there from the hat?
Oh, of course. Oh, and these right here, man. I'll like the the raccoon eyes were in full effect. Oh, we our photographer, she's incredible. I was like, "Hey, Sam, what can we do? We got touch it up, please, a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit."
Well, you can't run from it. At the end of the day, it sounds like she did an amazing job. I thought that was wonderful. I told the APGA I would go ahead and follow through on that request. Well,
Yep,
listen,
raccoon eyes in full effect always.
Chase, we're excited that you took time out. It is evident that you're practicing today. And so the Tee to Green Golf podcast is grateful that you gave us a little bit of time this afternoon. Please know that the door is always open and you're welcome to come back. We will do our part to stay connected with you through social media, your IG space, but also through the relationship that we are building through the APGA Tour. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To the Tee to
Thank you.
Green Golf podcast community, we are hopeful and confident that this will be an inspiring episode for you. And like we always say, hit it straight from Tee to Green. We are out.